Alright guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another video. I'm still on that grind, I'm still catching up with all the content that I've had in the vault to be doing over the Annie. We're still grinding through, but we have got the EZA Year 4 LRSSJ4 Goku versus the Legendary GT Goku event, which I'm really looking forward to. Unfortunately, he's not even starting on main rotation, but what can you do? He'll be on rotation in 2 turns, which is not too long of a wait. But don't forget to drop a like and subscribe if you are new. I am once again bringing a 170 lead team just to kind of accommodate and fit the kind of skill level and difficulty of GT Goku event and Vegeta event, rather than take a 200% lead, which of course LRSJ4 Goku can go on. He's amazing on. We've seen him on both for 170 and a 200% lead team. He's amazing on both. Like I said, just to kind of accommodate for the difficulty and skill level of Goku and Vegeta event, I'm bringing on a 170 lead team just to make it a little bit more realistic, because of course they don't update Goku and Vegeta event in terms of difficulty. They update it in terms of category missions, which does add a layer of difficulty depending on the category you're using, how good the units are and what units you have. But in terms of the actual event itself, difficulty doesn't get upscaled the way it does in SBR and ESBR. So this is just kind of a way to make it fair. I do also have the full power SSJ4 Goku with us as well. I will do a full video on him soon, but he's just going to chill in slot 3. I kind of felt like using him. But he's going to chill in slot 3 for now. I will do a video on him soon. Main rotation, see what he does. Let him do his thing. But for now, he's just going to be chilling in slot 3. Just because... I mean, I know he's going to be good here anyway. I know he's going to be good here anyway. But I will do a video on him very, very soon. Or maybe I'll end up doing a video on him in this event before this even comes out, so you wouldn't even seen how he performs. Now that I've said that, I'll probably end up doing that. So this doesn't even matter that he's here, because you've already seen a video of him in this event and he's probably done really well. He's probably done really well. So it doesn't even matter. But now we've got the SSJ4 Goku on rotation. Of course, one of the major amazing things about this unit is, I mean, apart from him obviously being very good, is he links incredible. Of course, once we get some orbs, the rest of the links will be active apart from prepared battle, but he links almost perfectly with the LRSJ force from year 7, which is just such a good thing to have. But considering neither of them are built for slot 2, considering the way this event is made, which is it will gradually get more difficult and difficult, there's the 6 links, but considering the event will gradually get more difficult and difficult, means the LRSSJ4s can just chill in slot 1, take a little bit of damage potentially if they get supered, you know, in some of the early phases because they ain't stacked up too much, but because it's so easy to get 20 ki or more, they're stacking up twice in 1 turn potentially. And then also if we can get the very unlikely at 55% 5 additional, potentially sometimes we can get the holy trinity of supers and super attack 3 times in 1 turn and stack up thrice. But they can chill in slot 1, stacking up as the event gets a little bit harder and harder and harder. They're going to be fine. And then Goku can chill in slot 2, doing his thing, massively raising attack and defense on 18 ki, which is huge, which is why he does so much damage. 7 mil damage, just easily like that. And a 5.5 mil crit, just like that. But more importantly, his defense will take a whole big jump up as well, which is the very nice part. We actually may take a little bit of damage here. But hopefully not. Hopefully not. I mean, do I use an item? Do I use an item already? I don't really want to use an item already, so I'm not going to use an item already. And then even if you're not getting the 18 ki off, which is what I love so much, is he massively raises defense on both 12 and 18 ki. So even if you somehow don't manage to get his 18 ki off, because maybe he's not linked up, you know, ideally to someone, which, you know, is not always the case, but you'd have to really link him up terribly for him to struggle. Not to mention, obviously, he's getting a key +2 per rainbow key sphere obtained and AGL key sphere obtained. He's also getting additional key +1 per type key sphere obtained. So, unless you've made it so Goku links to hardly anyone, and the orb placement on the field is terrible, you'd still probably get a 12 key off, and he's massively raising defense on both, which is the more important thing, because defense, of course, in Dokkan nowadays is so valuable. It doesn't raise his attack anywhere near as much, but as I said, the defense is more valuable than, of course, the attack. We're going to save that for the Great Ape phase, just because they have type advantage. Funny, we do actually have all of our links active if I leave them here, which, I mean, we might as well do. We can get a decent amount of HP back off of these AGL key spheres. wasn't actually that much. But yeah, so you know, unless you're kind of literally making it so Goku doesn't get any ki in terms of out of his links, then yeah, maybe if the ore placement isn't also, you know, generous to that turn, maybe you may struggle to get the 18 ki, but that's if you're forcing Goku to not have ki, which of course you're just not going to do. But also it should have been 3 turns by now, so Goku does have his additional attack plus 20% at the start of each turn that goes up to 60%, so he's now going to be performing at his offensive peak, which we do love to see, especially while having type advantage against debatable the hardest hitting, if not the second hardest hitting phase in the entirety of the GT Goku event. We'll put you in slot 1 and I'll pop an EZA so we have full health and a little bit of extra defense on Jeets. Give him all the AJL key spheres as well. We'll give you all of those as well, why not? And we are even going to super attack with SJ4 Gogeta, so we're good for the turn. So now he's going to be performing at his very best, which of course we love to see. Now we're just going to pretty much watch him do his thing. Of course, the only thing that would be nice to get active here, but of course we can't. We potentially will do once we go into ESBR where there's multiple enemies, but of course we're only facing one at all times. We can't get his disable the enemy's actions in one turn because we're not facing 2 or more enemies, which is a shame because it would have been nice to get off here, you know, kind of like red zone, potentially a super attack might be coming, you know, without forcing enemy super attack, you might not know. But disabling one of the enemy's actions for a turn is always a nice thing to do at avoiding some extra damage, but unfortunately we can't do that here because we're facing one enemy. And the grave is almost dead. So I'm actually going to pop Goku in slot 1. I'm not going to use his active. Oh wow, I was literally just talking about his 18 key, and I mean this is where ore placement isn't that kind to us. And we're not going to get it active. To be fair, no, actually even if I put him here we don't get prepared for battle. So we're just missing it. So we're not going to do as much damage as of course Goku can do, but we're still going to be massive raising our defense, which is the important part. But he should still do some very good damage. Yeah, 5.1 million attack stat. Even on a 12 key, he's putting out over a 5 mil attack stat. Grey Ape's probably dead. I mean, he's literally almost dead. He even got an additional. He even got an additional. That means he would have massively raised defense twice if he needed it. I mean, there you go. He's almost putting out 4 million crits on 12 keys. It's just, he's ridiculous. He's generally ridiculous. Literally ridiculous. They are insanely good. Of course, we need to use Jeets next, which I'm looking forward to. And when we use Jeets, because we've already done a video on Goku by the time we use Jeets, I get to run them both on the same rotation, which I'm really looking forward to. Really looking forward to, because they link so well together. They're both amazing EZAs. Jeets can finally massively raise defense, or raises defense in general, not massively raise both because he doesn't. Goku does that. But raises his defense on both 12 and 18 key. So I'm looking forward to that a lot. Of course, we will do that video after this one at some point. But so far, yeah, this is easy. We're just kind of flying through. We're just kind of flying through. The kind of harder test nowadays in Dokkan is, again, because they don't update Goku and Vegeta event the same way as SBR and ESBR, which they do update it with content, which is good. And again, depending on the category mission you're doing and the category you need to be taken, depends on the difficulty, depending on how your team is looking, what units you have, what units you don't have, things like that, and how good they are in a longer event. But let's leave them in slot 1 for a bit. You know, that's what adds an extra layer of difficulty, but because, as I said, they don't update it in the same way as SBR and ESBR, which is actually upscaling the difficulty of the event as a whole, I mean, he's taking 14k before Super, which, considering he gets most of his defense from supering by massively raising his attack and defense on 18 and massively raising his defense on 12, the fact he's not even on 20k or above, that's not bad. I mean, when you look at the units he's surrounded by as well. But yeah, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. No item hasn't even supered yet. He's only got defense plus 140 at the start of turn with the attack and defense plus 140 he gets. So yeah, that's actually not bad damage to take. But yeah, considering they don't update Goku and Vegeta event, 10.5 million crit, that's just stupid. I know it was a Dokkan attack, but that's just crazy. But because they don't upscale the difficulty of these events, you know, of course, the difficulty is still the same as when it first dropped. So when you have units or EZAs as good as LRSSJ for Goku, probably not going to be that difficult for him. And especially with the kind of teams we're going to be running him on, and we are running the units we're running with now, But just in general, it's not going to be that difficult, really, is it? It's just not going to be that difficult. I'm going to pop these just because why not? Rather than just constantly having it flashed here, they just don't do a lot of damage. But rather than just have it flashing there. So, I mean, his kind of real test, if you will, or like... Yeah, I guess kind of like his real test. I mean, it kind of doesn't really matter. I'll use a Whis just to be, like, make sure we're safe. But his real test will definitely be an ESBR, because of course SBR and ESBR nowadays, as I said, they're kind of upscaling the difficulty with new missions they're adding or new stages they're adding. And it generally is more difficult compared to what it used to be every time a new stage drops. So that'll kind of be his real test, because he isn't really suited to like a longer or shorter event. So it kind of doesn't really matter in his case of, you know, he's better in this one or better in a shorter event. He doesn't really have that. So his real test will definitely come in ESBR, just because it is, of course, more difficult compared to what it used to be. But so far he is we are just sailing with Goku right now, which really doesn't surprise me considering how much damage he does and has been doing. Even on a 170 lead team, hitting out 10 milli crits on Dokkan attacks, still putting out 5 million attack stats on 12 keys. Yeah, he is generally kind of dominating. I mean, we might as well pop this just because we can. I mean, if he'd done a crit, he actually generally would have done some decent damage. But unfortunately, no crits. We do have Type Disadvantage. Because we have a Whis active, I am actually going to leave him in slot 1 to see how much he tanks before he supers. So we have a Whis active, so we have 40% damage reduction. He hasn't supered. How much we taking? We're taking double digits. Which, considering he has Type Disadvantage, yes, we have a Whis active, but he has Type Disadvantage and he hasn't supered yet. Double digits is good. Now we've massively raised our defense for the turn. We've actually massively raised attack and defense. No crits, so we don't really do any damage. Yeah, we are taking no damage for this turn. Even if you super us, which you're not going to do. Yeah, no, he's not going to do. Would have been nice to see how much damage he actually took on a super there. Probably wouldn't have been too much. Well, nothing. It wouldn't, even if it was been a bit more than I think, which probably put, I probably took like 150 to 200k, maybe not even. Actually, maybe 200k is a bit much. Probably like 150k, 180 tops. Which, you know, considering our Type Disadvantage, yes, an item, you know, yes, we had an item active, but in the grand scheme of things, that's not a whole lot to take, considering he has Type Disadvantage. But he wouldn't have got us killed. Goku wouldn't have done enough damage against LRSSJ4 Goku, where we would have had to worry about it, is basically what I'm getting at. We'll give this for my boy. He's chilling in slot 1 with that Type Advantage, so we're good. And then we'll give you these as well when SSJ4 Goji is fine, so you can greatly raise attack and defense. Okay, that's fine. You can super my boy. Just do a little bit, but we're still okay. Again, nothing where we're going to have to actually worry about it. Still would have preferred you to super him after we supered, but again, nothing where we have to worry about. Yeah, EZA LRSJ4 Goku has generally been very good here. Very, very dominant. I mean, the only part where he hasn't been dominant is here, and that is because of the Type Disadvantage, and that's not in terms of he's taking too much damage, it's because of how much damage he's doing. Now we know he can do ridiculous amounts of damage. We've been seeing it with 6, 7, 8 milli attack stats. Because he has Type Disadvantage, of course, a lot of the damage he can actually do without a crit isn't too much, which we've been seeing, which is what, like 900k? So, I mean, if he hit a crit, he would still probably be doing like 2-3 million damage, which of course is sick to be doing here while having Type Disadvantage, but without getting lucky and getting those crits come off, of course, he hasn't been doing too much. We're going to end it with Gogeta's crit. Bang, big 5.8 milli crit. But other than that, he's been purely dominant, and we've sweeped the GT Goku event with EZA LRSSJ4 Goku. And yeah, I mean, there's no surprise considering he's pretty much one of, if not the best EZA in Dokkan right now globally. Let me think down in the comments. He is generally insane, and I love how good they are. And I'll see you in the next video, guys. And push.